Hello everybody, this is just Roblox, and today I'm going to show you how to make a CupRide or a CupRide. Don't really know what the difference between those two is. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use your F3x build tool. And that is a tool we'll be using to build this ride. You can also do it in the studio, your Roblox studio. And if anyone else just ended up here while looking through random videos on YouTube, this is for Roblox. Now, as you can see over here on my right side, there's a little sort of GUI with all your tools on it. And depending on which tool you click on, there will be a little bubble over here on your left side. So we'll start with the J tool right here. And the J tool lets you place blocks. Before I even place a block, we're going to go over to the left side of the screen. And when you click on this, where it says normal, all the blocks show up. So there's a normal block, which is a square, technically a rectangle. If we go back to the J tool, there's a truss, which is a ladder. You can climb on this thing. Then there's a wedge, which I really don't even know what this is. Oh, it's a triangle. I've never ever used the wedge. Never ever. Okay. Then there's a cylinder, a corner. Corner's a lot tinier than this thing. And then there's a ball, which is technically just a sphere. A sphere and a ball are the same thing. They're all circular. A vehicle seat, which lets you make a car. And a spawn plate, which, like, if I were to die, I would spawn on it, but sometimes it doesn't work every time, so I'm not going to show you that right now. So these are all your parts or pieces. The next thing is to show you all these other tools. So let me do that. I'm going to add a normal using the J tool. So that's this little square. And the X tool lets you rescale stuff. Beautiful, right? I know. The Z tool lets you move stuff around, which it's pretty much the same thing as the X tool, just it doesn't make stuff bigger or smaller. It moves it through space. And then the C tool rotates stuff, which, once again, it's these three tools, the X tool, the Z tool, and the C tool, are pretty much the same thing. And the N tool lets you change material. And remember, your options are always on the left side, and on the right side is your toolbox with the F3x tool. Now, over here in the N tool, we have brick, we have cobblestone, we have concrete, we have corroded material, we have diamond plating, fabric, foil, grass. Oh, glass, not grass. Granite. That's a nice one. There's grass. And here's glass. And in order to make glass work, you have to actually use another one of the features of the N tool. Let me get grass right beside it. That way, they don't become cousins. Turning glass into grass. There. And this is... So you use the transparency tool to make things exactly how it says, transparent. I don't even know how to describe that word to you guys. But basically, it just makes stuff clear. There we go, I did it. I described it. Everyone cheer. Yeah, I know. Sorry for the sarcasm. But that's basically how you make glass look like glass instead of like an icy hunk. I'll show you the ice right next to that. If I can find it, there we go. So, ice and glass, when you add glass, will look the same. So if I copy this block, and to copy is Shift-C, it's gonna be about the same. So here's this one right here that I've selected, which is what the purple around the block means. Looks about the same as ice. So right here is ice. I'll wiggle it around for you guys. This is ice, and this is glass. But in order to make glass look like glass, you have to go over here on your left in the end tool and make it transparency 0.7. And you can play with the transparency. It will go all the way up to 0.9, I think. It doesn't go any farther than that, otherwise it poops itself. I don't really know what reflectant does. And we'll move on now from here. So our blocks, our materials. You also have the H tool, which just adds a mesh. Like I'll click on a block. There has to be a block present for a mesh. Adds it, changes its shape. Then I didn't do the V tool. The V tool changes something's color, which is pretty basic. And the G tool adds pictures. The F tool combines stuff together. So like if I have this block right here, I take it, I copy it using my Shift-C, put them side by side, and then I click on the F tool, and I go over to my left side, and I hit Weld Last. It will connect them together, and then I go over here to my M tool, which is unanchor. Basically what it does is it gives it physics or gravity, so when I unanchor it, it will now fall, and now it's on the ground. And you would be able to push it around if I made them like bigger, but they're vehicle seats, so I picked a poor block. Let me find a better one. Yeah, cylinders. So let's take a big cylinder here, another big cylinder, weld them together using the F tool, use the M tool to unanchor them. Now they're on the ground, and now I can push them around. Pretty basic. And another thing I should show you in the F tool is if you weld two things together, like two of these balls, and you weld them together, and you unanchor them, of course, now they've got physics. But then if you go back to the F tool and you hit break welds, now they're two different objects again. So that's just something to understand. Now we can build our CupRide, suggesting you've stayed on this long. So the CupRide is going to be pretty basic, and it's going to use everything I just taught you, suggesting I didn't confuse you at any point, which I might have. Yes, I know. Building stuff is boring sometimes. Now, we place a block, a normal block, using our J tool, and then we use the Z tool to put it wherever we want. Then we sort of expand it, we make it feel however we want to. Then we want to go to the B tool, and then we want to click right on the top. So I'm going to say that one more time. We use the J tool to place our block. We use the B tool to click on our block, and we make sure we've selected the top. So once you select the top, it will show it over here on your left side, and then you want to click over here where it says smooth, and you want to hit hinge, and then this little yellow nub will show up. Then we want to go to our J tool, and then we want to add normal. Now you have a block on top, and then you can just copy this, Shift-C, and now you can just stick that right on top of that, shrink it down using the both in your X tool, and then you can just extend it. Now you copy this, scale this down, use the both tool to extend it. I'm just real quickly going to recolor this so I understand what's going on, because colors always help me. Now, going to copy this top piece, shrink it down, probably turn off the both setting here in a second. I'm going to put a red block here, light red. I'm going to expand it using the both setting, which is right here in your X tool. Make sure it sort of sits there. Then I'm going to copy that, put it over here, and I'm going to paint that like a light blue so it's not an annoying color. And then I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paint it green, You'll see that pop up there. I'm gonna set my X tool back to normal, and then I'm going to set up 4 sides, or 4 faces. That way I can push on this block, and I'm going to rotate it around, and there we go. And now, if you're sort of confused about how I copied more than one thing at once, if you hit shift and you select something, and then you keep holding shift and select something else, you can select 2 things at once, and then you can just copy it or move it around. So that's something important to know when you're building with F3x and in the studio, that you can select more than one thing. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is weld all this together, except for this green block. See this green block right here? I'm going to move it around for you. And how I undid what I just moved there is Control Z. That is undo. Now, I'm going to hit Shift, and I'm going to select all the blocks other than that block. Gotta make sure I got that, yeah. And then I weld it all. Actually, I lied, you have to weld all of this to that block, but nothing gets welded to the bottom. I'm just gonna show you guys more than once here. So, let me paint all of this one color. All of this sort of pink-purple color gets welded together, and nothing gets welded to this gray base, and then you want to anchor it. And now it spins around. Makes sense. And now I can just jump in here. I should be able to push on it. Sometimes it gets angry. But as you can see, I am able to spin it around. It's just not working as well as if you used a circle. And that's pretty much the end of the video. I hope you liked it. And do however you please. If you decide to subscribe, have at it. If you decide to thumbs up, have at it. If you decide to eat ice cream, have at it. Peace out. I hope you have a wonderful day.